Welcome to the Intercut podcast, the weekly show going over the TV, movies, and entertainment that people can't cut away from. I'm your co-host, Zachary Shevich, and joining me, he's oiled up and representing the nation of Tonga. It's Arturo Zurita.
I don't know where that one's from. I thought you were going to say Wakanda, but I'm pretty sure that's next week.
Yeah, I got to see that one still. You haven't been watching the Olympics?
No. Have they started?
Yeah, man, they've just started. Where have you been?
What
This
the
is like
heck
a
is
global
Tonga?
event.
Wait, is
Tonga's
Tonga
like
real?
a tiny island nation, like somewhere
this is a
in
real place.
Oceania. Yeah, and they have this like one Olympic athlete who like got all oiled up and is like the flag bearer, and it's kind of went a little bit viral. I don't know.
I only know Marvel cities, dude. I don't follow real Earth. No, the only
Reporting
thing I've
live
heard
from
about the
Gotham.
Olympics.
Wait, no, that's DC.
Only thing I've heard about the Olympics was the BuzzFeed article. I don't know if you heard about it.
What was that one?
It was about the bulges. They were comparing bulges. You heard about it?
I didn't hear about it, but that sounds like a
Okay.
BuzzFeed article.
Yeah, it was a BuzzFeed article, and people were complaining. They're like, wow, but if you made a top 10 bulges of female gymnastics, that would not be right. So there was like this whole debate. Everyone should be objectified. Be happy that someone stares at you in this lonely world. But I will say, bulge number 3 was kind of eye-popping. I will give BuzzFeed that.
I mean, a lot of those outfits do not reveal a lot to leave a lot to the imagination. They reveal a lot. There was a little bit of a Freudian slip there on my behalf. So yeah, the Olympics is one of many things that you could be watching. We'll see if it comes up in our what we've been watching. In a little bit, we'll be talking about whether or not the Oscars need another rule change, as well as the new Joker, potentially. But first, Art, let's get into it. What have you been watching?
What have I been watching? You and I have been listening to a similar thing, which I think you'll be bringing up, or both of us will. I've been watching one thing that I woke up Sunday morning to freaking 5 inches of snow outside, shoveled out of my... open up the door, shoveled my way out of it, like the freaking Shawshank Redemption, and I go to the theater to watch this little movie by your boy Clint Eastwood.
Uh-oh.
His wannabe 310 to Yuma, his 1517 to Paris, right? Now I'm a big Eastwood fan. I had no idea the man's directed 36... I should have... Do you know how many movies Clint Eastwood has directed?
36.
Isn't that an insane amount?
It is. I mean, he is not exactly like a newcomer, so I don't know if I should be surprised by that. But yeah, it is a pretty gargantuan amount.
I've collected a lot of his movies. One of my birthday gifts, I was like, my family gave me like a whole stack of Clint Eastwood movies, but like I had no idea it was 36. I'm a huge fan of Mystic River. What is it? $1 Million Baby. I think he did Changeling as well. Super creepy movies. I think he can be a really good director, but what he's always known as is a director who relies on really good actors. And that started being very apparent with movies like Gran Torino, which I love. I love Gran Torino. Half of the movie's very cringy because there are actors who have no idea what they're doing, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a style to Clint Eastwood movies, and it's not necessarily the most naturalistic. So I think good actors do a really great job of delivering that type of dialogue. They do a fantastic job.
He's also known for being that guy who only likes like very minimal takes, like 1 or 2.
Yeah, like he's a very much like give me it in 1 or 2 takes and we'll move on kind of director. So you kind of need a good actor who's ready to step up to the plate on the first take. Maybe not the amateur actors who were the real life people
in this movie
who started the incident.
So 1517 to Paris is the train that they took to Paris, the real life incident that happened a couple years ago. He decided, yo, you know how to make this super authentic? He saw Act of Valor on TV one day and he was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to get the real people, the real soldiers. He gets them there in this movie. If he relies on real actors, if he loves doing only 1 or 2 takes, boy, does that explain this movie. I called it Pure Flix meets The Room. 10 minutes into it, I was like, what have I gotten myself into? I looked over at my girlfriend, and my biggest regret with this movie is that I saw it at 12 in the afternoon, so I could not get drunk and fully enjoy this masterpiece of a movie. It is so bad it's good. Zach, let me tell you something. There's a flashback, and even the real actresses,
Jenna Fisher, I know, plays I think one of their moms in a flashback.
And so does Judy Greer. Both of them play moms in flashbacks and current day, kind of, but they're in a flashback scene, right? Where they both go into the principal's office. The first half of this movie is a Christian movie. There's no doubt about that. It is a Christian film. Then the second half, I have no idea what it is. I have absolutely... They start going to strip clubs in Amsterdam, so they just completely throw that out of the water. But the first half it's sponsored by Pureflix Films. And I thought I was watching God's Not Dead 4. They knock on the principal's office. They storm in there, and the principal tells them, your kids have ADD. They're like, what's AD? No, your kids have attention deficit disorder. I was like, what is going on? She goes, your kids need to take pills. She goes, my kid is not going to take pills because you don't know how to do your job. Are you getting it? It's a real-life Facebook post.
Yeah.
As a movie.
No, I mean, there's a tendency with Clint Eastwood's more recent movies to be a little bit get off my lawn.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, back to his little, when he was yelling at the chair. The whole thing.
I mean, he is one of the few, like, out conservative filmmakers in Hollywood.
So let me give you this little line that I had to write down here, all right? The teacher says, if you don't give your kid the pills right now for his ADD, his AD, then when he gets older, he's going to be even more messed up. And they get up and they said, enough is enough. They storm out. And like Charlie's Angels, they both look back. And straight up Judy Greer says, and I know this because I wrote it down, my God is bigger than your statistic. And whips her hair and willows her way out of the room.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it takes a certain audience to go along.
This is the best movie of 2018
with this kind of thing. And I don't. You're saying that like the fact that there are some professional actors that doesn't even.
No one was professional in this movie. No one was professional in this movie.
Yeah.
No, I like both of these actresses.
I'm a big Jenna Fisher and Judy Greer fan.
Jenna Fisher, however, delivers this line where she says, maybe I wrote it down. She straight up just like tells him when she hugs the kid goodbye and he's about to leave. She says something like, and I pray to God every day that everything will be okay. And she delivers it like that. I don't know Jenna Fisher's background. So I don't know if she was like grinning through her teeth pretending to be a Christian. Or if like this was the practice shot and Clint Eastwood said, good, got it, let's go, next shot. I highly recommend this movie to everyone.
It's good, let's go.
Yeah, just so you guys know, the train doesn't happen until 90 minutes into the movie.
It's not like the Slumdog Millionaire skyscraper we came up with last week, is it?
A little bit. There's a little bit of that too.
Oh my God.
But there's like 3 of those though. It's like, look at the ballpoint pen. He's gonna protect somebody with it during a drill, and then he like you. Here's the thing: they do all those scenes. This is what I mean by it. They set up all those scenes. Never do this. Highlight this. Use the ballpoint pen. That none of that happens for the actual attack. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
What's worse than copying Slumdog is half copying Slumdog.
Being lazy about it.
I have never seen foreshadowing that doesn't actually. Oh, it's so bad it's good. I loved it.
Yeah,
I was not prepared.
It definitely seems like there's a reason they're dumping it early in the year rather than going for like a more late end of year play. Awards play. It does not seem like it's gonna be one of those. Again, Eastwood normally does get in contention for his like.
Yeah. See, like I understood why it became the way it did. What I was really disappointed with, really the only thing that upset me was that he shot like on a GoPro. There's like 20 minutes where they Adam Sandler it, and you know the Adam Sandler's when you just go on vacation and you call it a movie.
Yeah.
They go on vacation. They reenact their vacation to go. They literally go to Amsterdam, Italy, and they're recording it literally like on a regular camera. There is jolts that the cameraman does. Everyone is looking at the camera because they're just filming in public. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. It definitely doesn't it doesn't seem like the best Clint Eastwood experience out there.
It's so bad it's good. That's what I recommend it for. But maybe you got something good.
I do. I'll get to what we were listening to in a little bit. But
that's fantastic.
Being that we're in Oscar season, I was thinking back 10 years ago, 2008, we got a really amazing crop of Best Picture nominees, highlighted by There Will Be Blood and No Country for Old Men. I decided to rewatch both of those movies over the past week, and wow, if those movies aren't still both great. I mean, it's a crazy coincidence that both of those movies just happen to have been filming at the same time in this like Texas area, that they were like neighboring each other, and they've become their like iconic works of two of our like most or the three of our most beloved American filmmakers. I don't know. Those movies are so good. At the time, I think I was a little bit more on the side of No Country for Old Men, because I think it is like 9/10 of a perfect thriller. There's no soundtrack in that movie at all, no score. It's just the stripped down, tense standoffs between Javier Bardem, Josh Brolin, Woody Harrelson, all these people, and it's a bag of money movie in the most pure sense. There's not a whole lot of other frills and stuff. It's just who has the money. How am I going to get the money from him? Shootouts and really stripped down.
What do you think about the ending?
So the ending is something that it definitely like took me out at the time because I wasn't expecting it.
Yeah.
I
hated it.
I've grown to really appreciate it because I see the ways that it is sort of foreshadowed throughout the movie and speaks to sort of the bigger themes of the movie. I think you get all you need from it, but at the time it was a little bit just shocking. Still, I love that first 9/10 of it so much that I thought it was the better of the two. But revisiting them, I think I might actually give the favorite to There'll Be Blood.
Wrong.
Man, you have to go back and revisit this movie. It is so perfect.
No, I agree with you.
Single scene.
Your boy?
Yeah, dude, Daniel Day-Lewis. I mean, that's the main reason that I wanted to go back, is that I wanted to show my girlfriend that amazing performance, which might be the greatest film performance of all time. Daniel Day-Lewis as...
It's not really a hot take, but
Daniel
can I give you a little bit?
Go ahead.
Can I give you a little bit?
Sure.
I think the better performance is Paul Dano.
Paul Dano is great. That is Paul Dano's career best performance.
Oh, I mean, hands down.
There's just some weird things he does in that movie. Like, I love that. I think a less smart actor would take that role and really try to make it very powerful to go up against Daniel Day-Lewis. And he does these like weird things with his voice cracking.
It's like a dog.
And he's like a weak child at some points too, in the way that he's just asking for credit. And I think it's a really, really brilliant performance from both of them. The way that Daniel just sort of like embodies capitalism is amazing. It's beautifully shot. Robert Elswit's cinematography still holds up. I mean, it's one of those movies that when I was first watching it, when it goes from scene to scene, I think I maybe didn't get into the flow of the movie. But as I look back on it, man, every single moment of that movie works so well. And it really stuck out on this rewatch of it that is a pretty much perfect movie with a hell of an ending. I was glad that I can finally start quoting "I drink your milkshake" again, because it's been a while. It's been 10 years, man.
I'd be walking around with a straw at a McDonald's. Did you see it on Netflix, or do you own it?
I own it. Is it on Netflix?
I remember it being
was
on
for a
Netflix.
While.
Yeah, so it's like I haven't seen it since like probably 2010. So it's like I do want to rewatch it again, mainly because to me There Will Be Blood was my favorite of the two when they both came out. I really didn't like No Country for Old Men. Because I have a story about that one. Yeah, but someone like convinced me. They gave me like a really convincing thing, which I'll bring up right now. But that's when I got like really put on Paul Dano.
Yeah.
The scene in the church is one of my favorite scenes of all time, where he like takes the demon and throws it out.
Yes.
That was like the first time that like I experienced like a mini one shot. That performance of like there's absolutely nothing there and he's just going all the way, and then when you think the scene ends, he's still going. I was like, what was that?
Took you somewhere.
What is that man doing right now? Does he know? Like, it's God. That's when I fell in love with Paul Dano. That's to me. That's why I like. That's there. I mean,
the combination of that and Little Miss Sunshine is just such a 1-2 punch that he had in the late 2000s. There.
No Country for Old Men. You had brought up the ending and how you liked it a bit more. Someone had convinced me that No Country for Old Men, obviously it being based off of the novel, that the Coen brothers were playing with the 3-act structure. That the whole idea throughout the film is that there's always the good guy who comes back at the end. But those are old men's tales.
Yeah.
And this ain't a country for old men.
Exactly.
So it ends with the good guy not saving the day, like Tommy Lee Jones' dad was known for as this legend who always came in, and then he had this daunting thing over him, and he doesn't deliver. But that's the point.
When you rewatch
it, I was like, what?
I mean, when you rewatch it, knowing where the movie's going to go, there's that opening monologue where he talks about how nobody carried a gun. That's not a thing that sheriffs did. But now it's a different world, and it's a world he doesn't recognize. And when you conflate that with the idea of the 3-act structure and how we sort of like expect and hope for a hero to win in the end, the good guy to win in the end, I think it's a really, really profound idea that sticks with you in a way that not all those types of movies do. So both of them are great movies. I can't really diss either, but right now I'm going with There'll Be Blood. And my boy PTA, who made his masterpiece.
I'm going with The Reader, 2008 classic.
So we're gonna move on to the yay or nay, where should we talk about Black Panther real quick?
No, I think we should talk about it at the end because these people need to understand what they've been missing if they haven't heard the Black Panther soundtrack.
All right, so let's get into the yay or nay, where we get you with the latest in happenings in the entertainment industry. Starting off with Star Wars news. What else? There's always something new happening in the Lucasfilm universe. Benioff and Weiss of Game of Thrones fame are being selected to develop their own original Star Wars series of films, maybe their own trilogy. This is not going to be in relation to the Rian Johnson trilogy at all, nor is it going to be an extension of or a spin-off from the Skywalker saga. This is going to be yet another original Star Wars trilogy of films that's going to come from the Game of Thrones showrunners. Art, yay or nay, you are in favor of these guys taking on Star Wars?
Here's my theory. I don't care. I want to see it.
You're indifferent.
I'll judge it when it's made. I thought it was a TV show because if you remember, we had our theory that Disney was going to create their own streaming service, and their biggest thing for the platform was going to be something Star Wars related. I had said it was going to be a Star Wars series, a little mini series. I think this might still stand.
Yeah, I mean, there's
a trilogy for their new series.
I think some of the announcements have been a little bit confusing because you and I both originally read the announcement as a series. But there's been some reporting that says this is a series of films, so it is a strange choice considering that
they're TV guys.
Yeah, I mean, at least that's where they've gotten their acclaim. I think they've done some movies.
They have done some, but what do we know them for? Series.
Game of Thrones. Yeah, and that episodic way that they've done Game of Thrones, I think, could lend itself well to the Star Wars universe.
Well, Star Wars are episodes. Ooh.
Granted that, Game of Thrones provides you the ability to, show sex and blood and violence that isn't really traditional to the Star Wars universe.
So we need in
who knows? I mean, I don't know. There might be the possibility that these films aren't going to be theatrical releases and are going to be like.
That's what I'm telling you. That's what I'm telling you.
Streaming platform.
Dude, TVMA Star Wars movies. If that's the case, let's go.
Joaquin Phoenix is being highlighted for the role of the Joker in an upcoming Todd Phillips standalone Joker film. This would be separate from the Jared Leto Joker that's in the Suicide Squad chronology or linearology. I don't know.
Yeah, whatever it is.
About. DC is now going to be doing these concurrent films, apparently, where you can have multiple people playing the same character at one time because it's separate universes. I don't really understand, but solo Joker film with Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker, art, yay or nay, is he a good choice to play the iconic film role?
I feel like he's a little too big. He's not fat. I'm not going to body shame Joaquin Phoenix, but he's a little too big, right?
He's not any bigger than Nicholson was when Nicholson played it, I guess.
Okay, yeah, then I'll give you that. No, I think he'd be fantastic. First of all, I like him, so I think anything he does would be fantastic in any way, shape, or form. What has Todd Phillips done?
I think he's the Hangover dude.
He's the Hangover guy, right?
Yeah,
that would
be intriguing. He also did that one, was it?
War Dogs?
Yeah, War Dogs.
Yeah, so it's like, to me, I would be curious to see what he does with the role. What I'm more curious hearing this, we had someone, remember when it was Leonardo DiCaprio and Scorsese? Then it's turning into these two. I'm curious at what point the Cloverfield paradox shifts into the DC universe, that we now have multiple characters in one.
Right.
I mean, DC has gotten to the point where that's fine. Do something completely vastly different. Forget this whole, like, Marvel's already got that down. Do something crazy like this. Make it an anthology stuff. They have messed up their own selves. I mean, all these theories coming out about, I mean, I don't hate Snyder. I'm not on the Snyder hate train, or the whole conspiracy stuff of the people claiming that he did finish his cut. Yeah, he was fired and all that stuff. But it's just like, I mean, they went for his vision, they didn't like it, and now they're trying to, like, retroactively get rid of it. Unless you start all over, do something crazy like this. Multiple universes, like, yes.
Yeah, I mean, it also, like, I think the modern movie fan is cognizant enough of the idea that you can keep these things separate. That Jack Nicholson Joker and Heath Ledger Joker and Jared Leto Joker can all be different things.
Now they're on the same universe.
And that, you know, Zach Galifianakis Lego Batman Joker could be its own thing, too.
That's the main one.
and that we understand the differences, kind of. That it doesn't necessarily, when the Joker shows up again and it's Jared Leto, there's not going to be some person in Kansas like, hey, what about Joaquin Phoenix? I thought I saw him in the, you know.
It's dumb, though. Come on now. It is dumb.
It's weird. I think that if they're gonna go for this route of having, like, different tones and different styles of films, I'd rather they, like, allow the different filmmakers to cast who they want. Maybe I'm only saying that because I don't particularly like Jared Leto, but, you know, Joaquin Phoenix is a great actor. I am surprised a little bit that he's interested in this role, but hey, it'd be interesting to see. It seems to bring the best out of a lot of actors. Yeah, except
I'll give
Jared
it a
Leto.
Do something different. I don't like him.
Jordan Peele is apparently considering a sequel to Get Out. At events promoting the movie for Oscars recently, he was quoted saying, "I will definitely seriously consider it. I love that universe and feel like there's more story to tell. I don't know what it is now, but there are some loose ends if you know the movie." So, Art, yay or nay, you'd be interested in seeing more of the world of Get Out?
Yes and no. I get what he's saying.
Yeah.
But, like getting into the world, that's cool. But you have to remember, like, one of the biggest things of Get Out is figuring it out. Right? You know what I mean? So you can't really do a sequel with the same thing. And I don't want him to follow the same thing of, like, ooh, what's going to happen, then a big reveal. Because it's sort of like, now it really seems like you're trying too hard. And in order to come up with something, if you're already in this world, right?
Yeah.
We were surprised by how crazy it is. In order to have another surprise, it needs to get even crazier. And you know what I mean? How crazy are you going to get?
I mean, like, I'm going to say yay only because if Jordan Peele really wants to do this, I feel like he's got a good enough idea to merit it.
Yeah.
You know, he's clearly well acquainted with the horror tropes and the ideas of horror. And I think he could definitely, there's ideas that you can explore in almost like a Black Mirror-ish sense that just kind of are adjacent to the world that aren't necessarily the same story exactly.
Hey.
Do I want to see, you know, Get Out 2 with just, you know, another black guy's dating another white girl and no, their families, you know, no, that would be a retread and that would be boring. We have that movie. We have a great version of that movie. But if he really thinks there's more story to tell, then it could be cool. Yeah, let's do it.
I think it'd be interesting. Maybe he goes back in time. Maybe he calls it Get In. You down for Get In, or you thinking another one?
Get into it.
Get it.
Get out.
Get
it.
Get something. Yeah, get it.
Get out something.
We'll see.
Get out, get something.
It's a romantic comedy, and it's called To Get Her. Together. Yeah, he's a director. We're not good.
Yeah, we shouldn't.
We get in the fun for it.
Peter Rabbit was released this weekend, and it's stirring up a little bit of controversy. Have you heard about this?
Oh, yes, I heard about it just earlier today.
There's a scene in the movie in which a character that is a menace to Peter Rabbit happens to have an allergy to blackberries that is used to his disadvantage in the movie for comedic effect. Sony has since apologized for this movie and for the perhaps dangerous precedent it sets for allergies and people with allergies and eating things when you're allergic to them. I don't know. Art, yeah or nay, Sony should be apologizing for this moment in the movie.
Yeah, they should. And Reese's Peanut Butter Cups should come out and apologize every time they've advertised their peanut butter thing, knowing that people have peanut allergies. This is the dumbest thing. Now I know why I heard this. Chris Stuckman had tweeted out saying that Paddington shows jail as being this place where you get unlimited marmalade and that everyone sings and dances. Does that mean that they now have to apologize?
Right.
Every cartoon does crazy what?
I'm looking for my retroactive apology for Willy Wonka because the side effects of the chocolate.
You're not getting it. That's dead and gone. I'm sorry, my friend.
All the way down.
No, this is dumb. This is absolutely dumb. And you know what's crazy? I haven't even seen the movie yet. I was like gonna skip it, but I hear it's actually not that bad.
Oh, really?
I've heard that it has some adult humor in it that's very cleverly put in there. I thought the trailer was idiotic, but supposedly it's quite delightful.
All right, well, see it. Report back to us. Tell us if the allergy thing is offensive because I haven't seen it. I don't want to comment specifically.
Come back triggered.
Right. I'll never eat blackberries again. All right, we want to wrap up Yay or Nay with some quick cuts of news stories, starting with Big Sick writers Kumail Nanjiani and Emily Gordon are writing a series called Little America. It's an immigration anthology series that will be for Apple.
I like it.
Yay or nay?
No, I like it. That sounds good. I like it. I'm down.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds almost like an immigration version of High Maintenance or something.
A little bit, but Apple. That's interesting.
Yeah. I mean, they're really getting in the TV game. They're developing that Reese Witherspoon, Jennifer Aniston show and a few others. So
I remember we talked about that.
They're making a big play. Colma, starring Daisy Ridley, is apparently, potentially, Cloverfield 5. Art, yay or nay, you will still be hotly anticipating a new Cloverfield by the time that Colma is out.
Yeah, what are you talking about? I'm my fifth kid. My fifth kid's called Clover Zarita. Of course I'm going to be. Yeah, hands down. I don't know about this. I think this is... Why? Why are they saying... Is it because it's a Bad Robot production?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I don't think everything's going to be a Cloverfield production.
It can't all be Clover.
But
not everything is a tie-dad.
Not everything can be a tie-dad. But the way that they have pretty much broken down the movies, one was a monster movie, one was a claustrophobic alien thriller, the other one was a sci-fi. Then we got our war horror. This sounds like a psychological... I don't know, coma
movie. It could be another twist on the Cloverfield genre.
So that's the only reason I'm saying it fit in. It's Bad Robot, and it's not treading on the same grounds as the other one, so it seems like it may be an addition. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be into it. Steven Soderbergh is reteaming with his Nick star Andre Holland for an NBA-centered drama called High Flying Bird. Holland will play a sports agent who offers his rookie client a, quote, intriguing and controversial business opportunity. Art, yay or nay, you want to see a Steven Soderbergh basketball movie?
Yeah, once he's done experimenting with all this dumb stuff that he's been doing, ooh, I'm Steven Soderbergh and I'm going to retire. Just kidding, I'm coming back. Oh, I'm Steven Soderbergh and I directed a movie or produced a movie all in an iPhone.
My new TV show is an app.
Yeah. Steven, stop. You're good at what you do.
Yeah.
So just do what you...
Logan Lucky is a solid movie. Go make movies.
No. I wasn't the biggest fan of Logan Lucky. But I like his Ocean's movies, so who am I to say?
I mean, look, I think that he's a really, really interesting filmmaker, and most notably because he does such great camera work, too.
Yes.
If he wants to do an NBA movie, I feel like that's going to be some of the, most well-shot sports scenes we've ever gotten.
POV.
Right?
POV of the basketball.
I don't know, man. So for that alone, I am all the way in on this movie. Plus, more Andre Holland. I'm always for more Andre Holland.
Yeah, we're talking about him.
And our last rough cut story, Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle, which, by the way, has now grossed... I haven't yet. You did.
It's good. It's good.
I know. I'll catch up with it when it's on VOD. It's now grossed more domestically than both Thor Ragnarok and Spider-Man Homecoming. You know this?
No, I did not know that. I thought you were going to say the second Thor. That I was like, yeah, that's right. Of course. Wait, no, I like that Thor. That's the Thor I love.
Yeah.
Wait, how much?
It's... over 350 million domestically already. keeps piling in money. Not a whole lot of other options in theaters right now, so people keep seeing it.
It's good.
I mean, Jumanji is doing so well that they want to bring back its director, Jake Kasdan, for the sequel along with the screenwriter's art. Yay or nay, you want to see another movie from this team.
I don't know about... I mean, they were good. They got it done, right? They got it done.
Yeah.
But just because you have a sports car don't mean you can drive it like a sports car. All right? What really made this movie was... This is Kevin Hart and The Rock. They've tried in the past. I think I didn't like CIA. I didn't like a bunch of the other Kevin Hart and even Rock movies that they do separately. They came together for this one, and it worked completely well. They add to the story. Jack Black, in my opinion, those two are great. They're the standouts that everyone's talking about. I still think that Jack Black is the standout in the movie. And he's like the third, if not fourth character in the cast. I think the cast makes a big deal. I honestly cannot think of another four to outdo this cast. That's what people forget. It's that the cast is who... In the first one, it's... obviously, that's all you needed was him. I know
Robin Williams.
Yeah, some people really like the kids, but Robin Williams was really the one,
he's the one who
could
makes
carry
that
the whole
movie.
thing. And that should tell you something, that Robin Williams was able to carry the first one. They needed 4 for the second one. But still, what other 4 are you going to find? You need the cast.
Cool. Well, we'll see who they end up bringing back in that cast. We're going to move on to our topic of the week with the Oscars coming up just a couple weeks from now already. Can you believe it? There has been some talk about the switch over to the multi-Best Picture nominee platform. This was done sort of about 8 years ago after The Dark Knight, which was a super popular movie and critically lauded, still missed out on a Best Picture nomination back when there were only 5 Best Picture nominations to be had. So a lot of people essentially thought if the Oscars switch up their format to allow up to 10 nominees, this could open the door to some more movies, some more popular movies. What we've gotten in the years since has been a little bit of a focus on the indie stuff and some of the smaller stuff. The Oscar nominees have become more and more niche. Perhaps no more so than this year, in which the only 2 movies to have grossed over $100 million and gotten a Best Picture nomination are Dunkirk and Get Out. The rest of the films have grossed well below that. The Post with $67 million, The Darkest Hour with $48 million, Shape of Water $44 million, all the way down to Phantom Thread at $14 million and Call Me by Your Name at $12 million. And it sort of calls into question whether or not the Oscars are doing enough, or whether or not they should be doing more to court the common moviegoer and court bigger, more popular movies like Get Out. Art, do you think that the Oscars need to do something again to change up their Best Picture nomination format in a way that gets some more well-known, some more widely loved movies into contention?
You would say it's changed, right? Like, you would say that, like you brought up, they're more focused on indies, thus meaning that there was a shift into indies?
I mean, I think that there's a couple different reasons for that. But I do think, that we've gotten a lot more of these, like, mid
When do you think it
movies.
happened?
Well, there's been this boom in the last 10 years of these, like, $20 million indie movie kind of things.
Yeah.
The ones that are, like, not at one of the major studios, but still get bought for, like, $10 million at Sundance anyway.
Yeah.
And those movies are doing a lot. That's your Moonlights, that's your Whiplashes, that's your all these movies that crash.
I love.
Which crashed the Oscars race and have kind of become bigger Oscar bait than these movies like The Darkest Hour, which are more prestige and cost a little more money. So I think it's kind of been a gradual shift in the taste of the Academy, going along with the way that the movie industry has changed.
Yeah. See, because to me, I can still recall earlier, I mean, in the beginning of just the 2000s, all 3 Lord of the Rings got nominated. They were respecting movies that not only made money and had big spectacle, but were still good. All 3 of them got nominated, third one won. A little bit before that, in the late 90s, not only did it get nominated, but it won the highest grossing movie of all time. Well, inflation, all that stuff, but for that time, Titanic.
A few years ago, we did get that Avatar nomination, and a lot of people thought it would win Best Picture. That ultimately went to The Hurt Locker, which was kind of the I think really the signal.
You think that was a turning point? At that point, it was like...
It really did signal the shift. I mean, it was a big change in the way that Oscars were campaigned for, too. The Hurt Locker was doing was doing a lot to say, like, we are this small, little, scrappy movie going up against this big movie. I think at that time, The Hurt Locker might have been the most inexpensive movie ever made to have been nominated for Best Picture or something like that.
And who directed it?
Catherine Bigelow, James
ex-wife?
James Cameron's ex-wife.
Bro, she went up there like, this isn't just a win for the movie. Take that, James.
She should have been like, I'm the queen of the world.
You won't get this in the prenup. Yeah. No, like, I mean, just think back to like early stuff. Ben-Hur, Ten Commandments, those were all spectacle movies. Like, it used to be like whatever won the Oscar was like a really, really big deal. Obviously, stuff with the internet, the way we change our minds, but I think the biggest issue is the politics behind it. I'm not saying that there hasn't been politics throughout all of it, but I think as of recently, I mean, that's every award show, and you would know this more because I know you look into it, that whole idea of how they cast ballots, that whole idea of voters anonymously coming out and going like, yeah, we haven't even seen the movies. That's the part that hurts me the most.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely been a shift that,
I don't like that
embraces the narratives around awards. I think there's sort of a group sense of when it's time to award something a little bit different, or you know, bringing momentum to some movies that perhaps would have been forgotten.
For movements from
That being said, I don't know how often that's necessarily giving you unworthy winners, but it is definitely shifting the conversations. For me, though, I wonder how much of it is because the studios, their big tentpole movies, are now so much more of these franchises and sequels and superhero films rather than a big original film like a Titanic or
Max, which
got an Oscar nomination. I think that sometimes the movies that draw a lot of attention aren't necessarily movies that highlight the qualities that we should be highlighting with the Oscars. You know, I think we get a lot of time to talk about why Wonder Woman was great. It made a lot of money because it was great. We don't need to give it a Best Picture nomination to talk about why it did those things.
That's what I've always been saying. That's true. If the movie's good for you, then it's good for you. Screw what Oscar has to say about it. You know what I mean? My favorite movie wasn't nominated for the Oscar. It don't matter. But you brought up the genre stuff. Or not the genre stuff, but the category stuff. What category would you add?
I mean, I think that there's a couple things you could do to potentially bring some more exciting movies in there. I think Best Collaborative Performance, which is something that Matt Zoller Seitz has written about before. It's the idea of rewarding a performance that was done with a group effort, like a combination of an actor and a CGI team. This is essentially the Andy Serkis Award. Yeah, that's what he calls it. It's Best Collaborative Performance because it's a performance by it's a performance by more than one person, because it's not just Andy Serkis doing that performance. It's all the artists who go into that too, and it would be a way to award things like Doug Jones in The Shape of Water, which is a great performance, but never really should be in Best Supporting Actor. Stuff like that. I think Best Ensemble, which would really be like kind of a casting thing, would be another great way to bring more actors. I mean, that's kind of the SAG award, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
But I do think that casting is something that is so important, and it's weird that casting directors don't get an Oscar. I also think, just in terms of putting on a better show, I think the Oscars need to add a stunt category. It would be a way to add something dynamic and visual to the TV broadcast and award something that is a huge part of the way we watch movies and is a huge part of the movies that people love. I mean,
I agree with that.
Movies that have stunts in them are essentially 99% of what dominates the box office, you know?
Now, special effects, the special effects category, that isn't really for physical stunts, if I'm correct, right?
Yeah, it's for computer graphics, stuff like that. Okay. Production design is for the actual physical design of sets, but again, it's not stunts and stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah, I would agree with the stunt things. They're very underappreciated. I think the casting one, already is taken care of. But I mean, I agree. If I was a casting director, it's like, yeah, great. I have a whole wall of SAG awards. Where the heck's my Oscar?
Right.
No, I agree. Probably the most.
Some respect.
I agree the most with the collaborative one. If that would be the name for it, or however they would name it for everybody.
And it would be something that is a cool award to. I think, what if the Porgs from Star Wars were nominated for an Oscar or something? I think it's the kind of thing that would get people a little more into the Oscars. But speaking of getting people into the Oscars, we have a few very popular movies that are in contention for some awards. Dunkirk is a movie that is pretty widely loved and did pretty well at the box office, but Get Out was kind of the movie of the year in terms of just conversations and amongst casual moviegoers. It really captured a lot of people's attention. I think it's going to bring a lot of attention to the Oscars from people who normally disregard the Oscars. Is it important that Get Out goes home with a couple awards?
You want me to hit you with the 3 points right now?
Go ahead.
Let me hit you with 3 points right now. 3 points right here. For the people who are saying that Get Out shouldn't even be nominated or win, let me bring you back to Mad Max and the culture phenomenon that was, right? This was the most culturally impacting movie of 2017. If you hated it, it literally moved you to feelings of hate. It impacted you in either way. That's how impacting the movie was. And I think that if we're talking about a movie that defines a year, that this would be a movie that you can choose to define the year. The artist, I don't know what that defined, but other movies like Spotlight, other movies like Moonlight from last year, the way that it defines the year, I think Get Out would be the perfect one to define it, and they've already nominated for it.
No, I mean, you look at, I think I brought this point up on a previous show. There's not a lot of films out there that add words to our vocabulary. Incepted is a thing because of Inception.
True.
But you can say someone is in the sunken place and people instantly know what you're saying.
Understand what you're
all
talking
those
about,
Kanye
exactly.
is in the sunken place jokes, we all get that because this is a commonly thought of idea that's been articulated by this movie, and it's sort of captured the zeitgeist in a way.
2, if we're talking political, right? We agree that they are already political. They're doing political things in order to have these campaigns to see who wins an award. And it's all these politics and stuff. So, I'm going to play your game. You guys need viewers. You need a bit more viewers. How do we get that? What you brought up. Get a movie like this not only nominated so people are tuning in, get it to win. Guess who's watching next year? The same people who are watching movies like Get Out.
Yeah.
And not the other, 8 nominated films? They come in not only to watch your show because they're rooting for ain't nobody watching the main game unless their home team's playing for the most part, right? This is supposed to be the Super Bowl. You've yet to make it the Super Bowl because you're not sending teams that, right? Since you got like your 32 teams, the Oscar Super Bowl's bringing in like...
Well, see, this is what's actually really exciting about the Oscars to me this year, is that there is no real clear Best Picture frontrunner. Yeah, I mean, like, people are saying maybe it's 3 Billboards, maybe it's Shape of Water, maybe it is Get Out. But the fact that there are so many horses in the race means that we can all kind of watch and get invested.
An exciting show? Exactly, yeah.
I mean, I know people who loved Moonlight last year who didn't watch the Oscars because they were so convinced La La Land was going to win, and for a few seconds they were right. But that, when it's really up in the air like that, it's just that much more exciting, and it puts someone like me, I consider myself someone who's really in tune with the Oscar race, and even I feel like I'm at a loss as to what will ultimately win.
So that's why I think it would be a good idea. 3 is that idea of if it wins, it opens up the door to so many other movies that usually aren't considered. Like, we look back to the mistakes, and I would say these are mistakes, like Dark Knight, other movies that weren't nominated. And what I think that brings to the table is a better show.
Yes.
When you have so many movies that not that many people have heard about, and even movies that I'm not going to bash, I love Whiplash. In a show, what sketch are you getting out of that? Do you want to... The ESPYs had sketches for Get Out. There's news shows that do sketches on... You get what I mean?
Yeah,
so
no,
when
it's
you have movies,
piece of media.
When you have movies that people know about, you then can put on performances for that. And I think that's one thing that the Oscars is missing. That's why they rely so heavily on just the music. And really, it's only 2 songs that people know, right? Like last year was the Moanas and probably another one.
Right.
The other 3 is just people going, okay, this is from that documentary no one saw. And this is, you know what I mean? Get more stuff in there to make it a good show. Like you said, something that's actually going to have you on the edge of your seat. Something that people are going to be rooting for. And the best part about a movie like Get Out winning is that I do truly believe that it's a very well-crafted script. I believe that if it wins, it's still deserving of it. But most importantly, movies. Get people to watch the show and be introduced to movies they would have never watched. Because if they see that the Oscars values normal people's opinion, they're going to look back and see everything else that was nominated and be like, well, you know what? They cared about me. I care about everything else they're choosing. That's why.
Absolutely. I mean, I know whenever there's been a film that I really loved and it got nominated or it won an Oscar, that's always been validating in a way that's made me want to see more films that have been nominated for Oscars. We see people who kind of disregard the Oscars, people who consider themselves big movie fans because the Oscars don't reflect their taste. But this is such a movie that has hit across so many different audiences that I think it might bring more people into the Academy fold in a way. And you mentioned, like, this isn't the type of movie that wins. We don't see horror movies get nominated or win. We don't see comedy movies win Oscars for Best Picture typically. It would be great to see something that is so genre, that is so atypical to what we consider an Oscar movie, succeed on this level and perhaps change what people think about when they think of the Academy Awards. Because the Oscars are meant as a spotlight on the best achievements in cinema. They're supposed to highlight the best in filmmaking, not the best in prestige filmmaking, not the best in drama filmmaking, which it's been for the most part, but just the most innovative and breathtaking filmmaking out there. For me, Get Out is easily one of the best movies of last year. I put 3 Billboards as my number 1. I'd be really happy to see that win.
Right, and Phantom Thread I had above as well, but Get Out.
Yeah, Get Out is one of the best movies of the year, and I know a lot of people are pulling for it. I am starting to feel like it might have some momentum.
Let's go.
Given that it won Best Original Screenplay at the Writers Guild.
Hey, let's go. I'm telling you, this is it. It's time for the old stuff to get out to bring in the new. There you go.
Absolutely, man. I am really excited for the Oscars and for the Oscars to potentially give Jordan Peele a statue or 2. We'll see in just a couple weeks. But for now, we are going to move on to our final segment of This and Every Week. It's the new to see, where we talk about what's new in theaters, on streaming, and on VOD. Starting off with the new in theaters on February 16th. It's the only thing worth talking about: Black Panther.
Bro, I don't even... you can't see it. I'm pretty sure you can see it right there. Maybe you cannot. Because I know you got a different camera than the camera right there. These things right here, those are my tickets. They've been right there on the board. They've been in every video that I've been making on the A to Z show. Dolby Atmos, day 1. We're talking about the album. We'll talk a little bit about it right now, because this is what I'm pretty sure both of us are going to have on the...
it's already been on loop for me.
Dude.
Yo, my boy Kendrick.
Movie albums aren't supposed to be this good.
No. It is a adventurous, out there album. Like, he's doing some crazy sounds on this thing too.
This is Disney's.
Right? Like, this is the fact that Disney is putting out this soundtrack is incredible to me, because it's just the Future bits. I mean, Future.
You like Future? I am not. That's the only thing in the album. They actually let Future act a fool on a Disney album.
I know. I mean, I just think it's hilarious that that's on a soundtrack that's being put out by Disney. It's just...
You want to know what it is? You want to know the last great album from a movie that I was this hyped up for?
What was it?
Creed.
Oh, yeah.
And who directed Creed?
Soundtrack.
Ryan Coogler. Is it Ryan Coogler? That's who it is.
He knows it's important, man.
And the album before Creed, Fruitvale Station's album, which was... I think it's Ryan Coogler's doing, or Ryan Coogler's team. They know how to get people, and they know how to orchestrate something where they give just all creative liberty. This is a TDE album. They are not held back at all. This is Kendrick's group going all in. I think this is really cool.
Yeah, dope. Man. I mean, it's really, really dope. It's really musically pushing some boundaries in the way that it sort of breaks up rhythms, and it really gets into that great thing that Kendrick does where he sort of finds a motif and goes it over and over and over again.
Are you on 10 yet? Are you on 10 yet? Oh,
it's hard
X is my favorite.
Man. X is really great. King's Dream is really great. Just the opening track is great. It's hard to really pick one above the rest. The Vince Staples track I love too.
Bruh, Paramedic is dope too. Yo, there are some lines in this. Even Kendrick can't even humble me. Woo! There's that one about you make something sing, call it a Drake. Oh, there's this one about I stand behind my bars like a seasoned criminal. Oh, like these are it's. I love it. It's fantastic. We haven't even gotten the movie yet. How does it fit with the movie?
Yeah, I'm very curious to see how much it plays into the movie, if at all, because I'm sure there's going to be some songs that just aren't in it. But.
Yeah, but they still mention a lot of things like Killmonger and the Black Panther and stuff like that. They mention Wakanda. He mentions Wakanda like it's Compton in one of the songs. No, it's fantastic. So that's all we can talk about right now to hype up the movie that's coming out. But like I said, I am excited to see it. I got extra I bought some seats around me just so people don't bother me.
Yeah, I'm going to go see that one day, opening day as well, and it's not even really my thing to do the midnight screenings of super. I'm just so excited for my boy Ryan Coogler.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
New to streaming on Netflix, February 16th. Everything Sucks, Season 1, a new Netflix teen drama, as well as Irreplaceable You. This looks like the new tearjerker romance starring Gugu Mbatha Raw. Gugu Mbatha Raw is really having her Netflix moment. Really? February 18th, we're getting The Joel McHale Show with Joel McHale, a show that looks like it could be basically a sequel to The Soup.
The Soup?
It's him and a green screen, so I'm all for that. I like Joel McHale being a snarky asshole about other TV shows. And I can just play that in the background. That's cool with me. February 19th, Netflix's live-action Full Metal Alchemist movie hits the streaming service.
I don't know about that.
I have no idea what to think about that.
I don't know about that. Anime live-action adaptations don't always go well. And what happened to the last Netflix adaptation of Death Note?
Yeah. So maybe not a lot to expect there. On Hulu, February 14th, 2009 Star Trek. February 15th, the complete series of NBC's Parenthood and 28 Hotel Rooms. This is an underseen indie movie written and directed by Matt Ross, who went on to do Captain Fantastic, a movie that a lot of people liked from a couple years back. I thought that movie was okay. I think 28 Hotel Rooms is much more interesting. It's the story of an affair between two people told over the 28 hotel rooms that they get together. It's kind of fun.
Oh, hey, that's not good. When did this come out?
I want to say 2013, maybe 12. But it's an interesting structured movie. Yeah, so that one's going to be on Hulu February 15th. February 19th, White Bird in a Blizzard, which I basically remember as the indie movie where Shailene Woodley
gets naked. Yeah, that was a big deal about that movie. Holy smokes. I remember that movie.
HBO Go on February 17th, The House, the movie where Amy Poehler and Will Ferrell turned their movie into a casino. I know Matt Singer of Screen Crush or Rant has kind of stand that this movie is much funnier than it's given credit for, so I might try and catch up with that.
No, it is funny. It's got some good jokes in there, but it also gets really dumb. But there's some really good jokes in there, though.
And on February 19th, Season 5 of Last Week Tonight with John Oliver is back. On Amazon, February 16th, uploading Human Flow, the Ai Weiwei documentary. He is the Chinese activist and artist who is pretty outspoken on human rights issues and stuff like that. Pretty interesting modern artist if that's your scene. Logan Lucky, which we mentioned briefly, that's going to be available on Amazon Prime. And Mozart in the Jungle Season 4. So I'm going to continue to ignore that show's existence.
Okay.
New to VOD, February 13th. Roman J. Israel Esquire. We get to catch up, man.
Where? On what? Wait, on what?
With VOD.
Oh, we still got to pay for it, though. It was going on streaming.
Also, Wonder, that Julia Roberts Owen Wilson movie that a lot of people seem to think was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
And then Florida Project, one of my favorites from last year, which I think should have gotten a little bit more respect. That one is finally going to be out on VOD and available to y'all. Art, what is your pick for the week?
Listen, besides the Kendrick album, which you should be listening to. There's music videos out, so new to see. You can see the music videos, listen to them, hear it, have a good time with it. Altered Carbon is a movie that I've been catching up on. TV shows, series that I've been catching up on. It really they put money into this.
Yeah, they were pushing this one after watching Cloverfield Paradox, right?
Yeah, right after. Right. They put money into this, but they put $50 million into Cloverfield. Both came out at the same time, around-ish. Bet all the attention went to Cloverfield. This one got a little bit buried. And here's the thing, like I'm not fully endorsing it. I'm just saying that it's 10 episodes long, 50-ish minutes. Think of it like a Blade Runner, where there's these different bodies. You don't die. You just go onto a
futuristic
body.
Sci-fi.
Yeah, it's very futuristic, cyberpunk. Some visuals are fantastic. Other visuals are like, okay, it's a little green screeny. Sometimes the acting's good. Sometimes the acting's CW. I think the action sucks. I think it's mediocre throughout the thing.
It's the dude Joel Kinnaman, I think, is the star of that one, right?
What is this, some kind of Suicide Squad? Yeah, that dude right there. It's got some interesting ideas though. Like there's this whole branch of the Catholic Church who doesn't believe that when you die, because the thing is, when people die, everyone's got chips. We're no longer like minds. Everything's loaded into the cloud and stuff. So when someone dies, you go, boop, you plug that USB in and figure out how they died. So some people, because Catholics have a law that protects them so that they don't come back from the dead, use that code so when they kill someone, they don't come back. So then it also becomes political because there's a law that's trying to get passed that says that if there's a murder, then that gets bypassed. Right? Like there's some stuff where I was like, yo, that's some deep stuff. And then you get like
so it's
random
also like future society laws.
Yes. No, there's some layers to this. So
Black Mirror-ish in a way?
Exactly. A little bit, yeah. So I appreciated some of the stuff. I don't want to spoil, but there's this one story of a guy who cannot remember the last 2 days and how that plays out. It's pretty interesting. We might talk about it later, but I do recommend it. Cool. It does get a little cheesy sometimes, and there is so much nudity in this. It rivals Game of Thrones, and we are talking.
I hear there's some full frontal dong action.
Oh, it got me up. I was like, what? But yeah, it's on Netflix. Check it out.
Awesome. Am I gonna get into this one from episode 1, or do I have to give it 1 or 2?
Oh, I don't know. It took my girlfriend to tell me what happened at the ending for me to be like, okay.
All right, I'm gonna recommend The Florida Project. That one's out on VOD. You know, I really love Sean Baker. He's one of my favorite small filmmakers, and this micro-budget movie is the highest budget movie he's ever done, taking place in the motels outside and around Disneyland.
World. Almost had it. Yeah.
Almost had it. 50-50 chance.
Yeah.
It tells the story of the hidden homeless, essentially, in America. These families that are living in hotel rooms and living month to month and looking for jobs and basically don't have money to get by. It's basically about this 6-year-old girl named Mooney and her single mother, and you see the world through her eyes. So while she has a lot of sadness around her, she doesn't necessarily know enough to experience it as sadness. So I think it's a really interestingly presented movie, a very interesting perspective on poverty in America and
right outside the happiest place.
Crisis. And exactly right outside the happiest place. You know, it's really amazing to see the scenes in which they're kind of literally outside the fence from happiness, and there's fireworks over there, and they're in the distance.
In a freaking Shrek swamp watching the fireworks. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's some really, really brilliant commentary in the way that Sean Baker shoots this. So watch The Florida Project if you want to rent that on VOD. If you don't want to spend the money and you got Netflix, check out Tangerine, because that movie is still on there, and that is another one of my favorites from Sean Baker. I don't know if Starlet is still on there, but that one's also really, really good. So the movies of Sean Baker, more specifically The Florida Project, that is my pick.
As he gets closer to getting a camera.
Yeah, exactly. Let's all chip in for his Indiegogo to get him a DSLR.
Give him my T3i, yeah.
That's all, though, for this week's show. You can catch more from me, Zach Shevich, by following me on Twitter or Instagram. Both of those are @ZShevich. And check out my YouTube channel, youtube.com/multiplexshow. Art, where can people get more from you?
You can find me at The A to Z Show on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Letterboxd, as well as, of course, a little doing some little stuff right there. Trying to get them Letterboxd sponsorships that I don't even think they do because they ain't got ads. But You can find me on YouTube. I'm getting on that train of getting at least a minimum 3 videos up. So you can catch me over there. You can complain. We can talk about movies. We can discuss things. I've been doing live streams over there as well. But if you don't want to catch me over there by myself because you think I'm too boring going solo, and you want to catch the dynamic duo over here, you can always find us here on the Intercut.
Yes, sir. You can listen to the podcast. Every episode is on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, your favorite podcatcher. As long as it's got that RSS feed, look for Intercut Pod, and you will find me and Art in your ear holes, whatever, every Tuesday. And on YouTube as well, if you go to youtube.com/c/intercutpod, we got that URL to make it easy for you. So make sure you're checking out us in video, in glorious video, so you can see our smiling faces as we deliver the yay or nays to you. It gives so much more to the experience.
It's like 4D, pretty much.
Yeah. You can drink water alongside us. Take a sip for every sip we take.
But thank you guys for watching.
Also, like our Facebook, follow our Twitter, check out our Instagram. All of those are at Intercut Pod. I'll be updating them throughout the week with updates from both me and Art. It's the best place to catch up with both of us. So thanks again for tuning in. And until next time, I promise I'll watch Dark, you guys. You don't have to keep commenting that we need to watch Dark.
One day.